Hi guys, school just ended, so hopefully no students burst in. We took this practice quiz today, and you got to see your scores on Schoology or on Google Forms or whatever. I thought I'd work these problems out too so you can see, make sure you're doing it the right way. We are going to have a quiz that's exactly the same on Thursday, just with slightly different numbers, but even these decimal places are probably going to be in the same place for that sort of quiz. So we got a plus, a minus, a times, and then two division ones, and we'll just kind of work them through for you. So with adding and subtracting decimals, the number one thing is lining them up by place value. You cannot do them sideways. And some people will say, yes, I can, I'm so great. Well, you're pretty good. You're pretty good. But if you want to be sure that you're right, line them up. And the beauty of this sort of thing, if I give you the piece of paper, is you can even just use one of the numbers and stack it right there. So if I'm going to line them up by place value, that really means the decimal is lined up. So decimal, decimal, and then I'll put 6, and it's okay to work your way outside or work your way from the decimal out so you make sure you're lined up perfectly. So now my missing digits, I'll put some zeros in there, okay, and now it's going to be really easy. My decimal, I'll go ahead and put that here. So 4 plus 0, 4. 2 plus 9, 11. 1, 1. 9 plus 1, and nothing else is 10. So I have a 0 here, and I carry my 1. 11 and 1 more is 12. So 2 and carry that 1. 1 and 4 is 5. So your answer is 52 and 14 thousandths. And you know, in our class, sometimes we'll say 52.014 because in reality, once you are outside of the classroom, that is how you talk. But it is to the thousandths place. Tenths, hundredths, thousandths. So you have 14 of those. So 52 and 14 thousandths. Next, 31 and 2 tenths, losing 15 and 63 hundredths. So I will stack them, and I might have a hard time writing over here. So what I'll do is I'll actually write above, and I'll say, here's my decimal from this number, here's my 2, and here's 31. So 31.2 minus 15.63. So I'll put a 0 here, and then I will go ahead and go for it. So 0 minus 3, can't do it. So I'll borrow right here, and I'll say you turn into 1, you turn into 10. 10 minus 3 now is 7. 1 minus 6, can't do it. A lot of people today I saw saying 5 still. I don't know if you're getting lazy with our practice or you're just completely forgetting. You cannot do 1 minus 6. You can't just say I'll do big minus small. You always have to think about the order, top minus bottom. So I can't do 1 minus 6, and I want to be right, so I'll borrow, regroup. Careful with that 1 there too. People keep regrouping that as 10. 11 minus 6, 5. And then I'll put a little decimal there, 0 minus 5. Man, there's a lot that you keep having to borrow here. 2 and 10. 10 minus 5 is a 5. And then 2 minus 1 is 1. So 15 and 57 hundredths. If I wanted to double check, and I kind of do, I want to see if I'm right because I'm a little concerned right now. Somebody walked in and I got a little distracted. So let me see. Let me just add 15.63 to this and see if I actually get 31.2. That's my double check. So 0, 1, 11, 12, 2, 1. That's going to be in 1, 1, and 3. So 31 point, yep, so good to go. So 15 and 57 hundredths is my answer. So multiplying, this one's interesting. You just need to stack them up. Order doesn't matter, okay? 4.5 times 2.2. And what I'm going to do is this is our strategy. Some people just multiply them and ignore decimals and say, hey, it's going to be 45 times 22, and then count the places that are behind the decimal. I don't know why. I've got this strategy of moving them out and then moving them back in. That's just how I learned, and I mean, it's not crazy. Anyway, so 45 times 22. Well, you move the top one out once, you move the bottom one out once, and you've moved the decimals a total of 2 places. So once I do 45 times 22, I'll start here with my 2. 2 times 5, 10. 2 times 4, 8. 1 more is 9. Now I'm on this 2, but this is not just a 2, it's a 20, which has a 0 at the end. That's why we add 0 for the tens place. 2 times 5 is 10 again. 0, 1 I can keep, 8, and then 9. So I have this. It looks like if I add it up, I have 990. Okay, but I don't have 990, do I? If I go back and rewind, I should have done this in the beginning. I always do this last, but I always double check my work, except for the first one. I don't know. I'm inconsistent. 2 is, this is close to 2, and this is really, I'll round up to 5, okay? So what was my estimate? 2 times 5, my answer should be somewhere around 10. 990 is way away from 10. So I also remember, oh, I needed to move that decimal back in. But even if I didn't know how many places to move it, I could guess. And I could say, okay, is 990 correct? No, that's nowhere close to 10. Is 99 correct? No, that's nowhere close to 10. 9.9? That's really close. That's probably it. And then 0.99 is like 1. No. But I'll come back here and I say officially once, twice. So I've moved my decimal to be 9.9. Now, a lot of you guys got this incorrect on our form today because you said 9.90. And we said, yeah, that's not incorrect. But guys, if you don't need it, get rid of it. Okay? If it was money, $9.90, I get it. I know it's confusing, but... And you still be accurate with me if you say 9.90, but start to go for that excellence instead of being safe. Next, I'm going to divide. I hate this order. Never try to do math with division in that order. Rearrange it. Use that division bar. It's wonderful. And then my first thing I ask when I have any decimal involved is, first of all, is my outside number, my divisor, a decimal? If it's not, if I like this 3, I keep it. I don't mess with it. And I do like the 3, so I'm not going to mess with it. So then I can just go. But what I do need to do is float this decimal up. Most people got this one correct, but they missed E. And I get it, because it's just floating the decimal up. But you guys showed me you can do long division. 3 can fit into 6 2 times because 3 times 2 is 6. I subtract it and I have 0. I don't need to do a decimal down here. I moved it up and I'm forgetting about it. Move this 5 down and go slow. 3 can go into 5 once because 3 times 1 is 3. I subtract, I have 2. I bring down, I have 1. 3 goes into 21 perfectly, our final one, 7 times because 3 times 7 is 21. I am now zeroed out and I've used every number that I see there. And so that means I'm finished. Okay, I don't need to do anything else. If I wanted to double check my answer, I could. What's 2.17 times 3? Okay, move out twice, pretend it's not there. I'm going to get a 1, a 5, and a 6. And now I move the decimal back in twice. Sure enough, it's the same thing. So your answer over here should be 2 and 17/100ths. Final one. The most complicated and the most missed today, and I understand it, we just kind of talked about it yesterday, but just think of it as a process. Go do what you know first, and then worry about the hard stuff. Okay, oh, there's an announcement. Okay, hope that guy finds his ride. All right, so I'm going to rearrange this in an order that works better for us, but I'm not going to start right away. I'm going to look at my divisor. Do I want to try to use 1.3? Well, when I look at a times chart, I don't see 1.3 anywhere, and I really don't see 13 either, but I'm going to be wrong if I have a decimal out here. I just know it. So what I do is I move it. I got to change it. Now, technically, and this is hard to understand now, the way we teach it to you is we say, hey, just move the decimal for both of these things, and that's what you're going to do. But if you were thinking fractions, like you can't have this as a fraction, okay? We can't have that as a fraction, and it's the same math here. So what could I do to make this not a fraction but still be equivalent? I would multiply by 10. And when we multiply by 10, that's how we move the decimal. So times 10 becomes 403 over 13. Like now that's a fine fraction, okay? But we can't, we can't do that. So I have to do, whatever I do to the outside, I have to do to the inside, because that's what I have to do with fractions. You can't just multiply one by 10 and not the other. You've changed your numbers. So I'll do that and then I'll rewrite it. I hate to leave it here. And after I rewrite it, and our notes say this, I forget about everything that happened here. People are saying that, oh, so there's no decimal anymore. You move it until the decimals are gone. No, you always move these the same number of spaces. And then wherever your decimal ends up over here is where it is. It just happens to be moved out. It's not gone, right? Isn't it still here? So over here, isn't it still here? In case I need it, and sometimes I will, because your answer will go past this 3 and you'll have a decimal remainder. Today, it doesn't happen that way, but in the future or in other times, you will see that happen. So I start to say, all right, how many times can 13 go into 4? 0. How about 13 now into 40? Let me guess and check over here, 13 times 3. Okay, and that's going to be an easy one, 39. Can I do more than 39? No. So I'm going to write down the 3 and the 39 right now. 13 can go into 43 times because 13 times 3 is 39. I subtract that and I have 1 left. I bring down and I have a 13. 13 can go into 13 perfectly once because 13 times 1 is 13. I subtract and I'm zeroed out and I've used all my numbers up there in front of the decimal. I'm a happy guy. So my final answer here is 31. If I wanted to, I could come back up. And really tomorrow, or I say Thursday actually, you should do this. You want to have an A+. So don't be lazy. Go back through and do it. If I do 13 times 31, or actually let me come back to the original problem, 1.3 times 31, I should be getting 40.3. So let's try it. 1.3 times 31, right? So I'll put, the order doesn't matter, honestly. Here we go. So I'll move this out, and so it becomes 13. I have a little 1 space there, so I remember. So 1 times 3, 3. 1 times 1, 1. Now I'm on this 3, which is actually 30, so 0. 3 times 3, 9. 3 times 1, 3. Now I add it up. 3. I have a 0. I have 10, really, 0, and then carry a 1, and I have 4. And I have to move the decimal back in. Was that what I started with? 40.3. Yes, it was. So that's how you check. I saw people get 3.1. I mean, really, I encourage you, go back to the beginning. Okay, or use an estimate. What's 40 divided by 1? It's 40. So your answer needs to be somewhere in like the low to medium tens place, and that's 31. If you had your decimal here, 3.1 would be way off. 310 would be way off, but you have millions of ways to double check. Just actually pick one. I'd rather you guys be the 9th person to finish but have them all right than be the first person to finish and have 2 wrong that you probably could have gotten right. So anyways, guys, you'll have another study guide tomorrow, a little bit more practice, but please take a look at this and ask me if you have any questions. Thanks.